The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 70. Your weight loss momentum. Is it helping you or is it hurting you? Hello and welcome. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the kick-ass, amazing Inner Self Diet. The diet that is not a diet, the diet that works every time, the diet that ends emotional eating, ends binge eating, ends food addiction, ends food fear, ends scale fear, food obsession, whatever the problem is that is blocking you from just losing weight and keeping it off for the rest of your freaking life without a struggle. Whatever it is that's standing in your way, the Inner Self Diet heals it. The Inner Self Diet is like nothing else available, and it's awesome. But, even though it works, and it's been working since I started doing this work in 2009, I actually started my online weight loss business in 2007, and then I started professionally coaching in 2009. And since I have been doing this, the Inner Self Diet, it works every time, but it doesn't work for anybody who doesn't do it. So, folks that just listen to me talk about it and talk about how cool it is, yeah, it doesn't work for them. It only works for you if you actually get in it and you do it, and it totally rocks. Hey, before we get going here with today's episode about your weight loss momentum, if you'd like to start learning just a little bit more, just a tiny little baby step, go ahead and grab my free ebook. You can get that at easyfunweightloss.com. It'll give you 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easy and fun from the inside out. And once again, you can get that at easyfunweightloss.com. All right, so we have a really cool topic today because most people don't understand it, and you have to have the right momentum going, have the right momentum flowing in order to have struggle-free weight loss, in order to be moving towards your ideal body instead of be moving away from it. But first, let me just explain the fact about your weight loss momentum, all right? You always have momentum flowing in your life, always. You're never without momentum. Even if you feel like the laziest person on the entire spinning planet that we're on, you still have momentum going. It's just a matter of what kind of momentum you have created and where that momentum is carrying you. Okay? So when we talk about your weight loss momentum, is it helping you or is it hurting you? Well, first of all, you would kind of think that if you have weight loss momentum flowing, that would mean that you're actually losing weight. And that does make sense, doesn't it? However, if you keep just, you're just talking about that you want to lose weight, and you tell everybody how upset you are that you're 60 pounds overweight, and the thing is though is that you've been talking about this for 15 years and there's really not anything changing, right? So then it's, even though you're talking about it, where is your momentum? Do you have weight loss momentum going, or do you have some other kind of momentum going? Okay, so if you just talk about wanting to lose weight, but you cannot stop overeating, you can't stop binge eating, you can't stop emotional eating, you can maybe stick with healthy eating for 3 days, and then the rest of the week it's an all-out binge and you are just completely out of control. Hey, by the way, Millions are out there doing the same thing, unfortunately, because there is no food diet that's going to fix these problems for you. The actual problem has to be healed, and the problem is not the food, and the problem is not the fat on your body. The problem is also not your unhealthy behaviors. Those behaviors are just a symptom, just like your excess fat on your body is a symptom. Okay, these are all just symptoms of a bigger problem, and a food diet can't fix that. An exercise program can't fix that. Food diets and exercise programs, if they're healthy, those are just instruction manuals for people who have no idea how to eat healthy and how to live an active lifestyle. But those instructions won't do anyone any good if you haven't actually fixed the problem that made you fat in the first place. And again, the problem is not the food. The problem is not the fat on your body. So you're just fighting a losing battle, literally, but it's not weight loss that you're getting. You just get more struggle, unfortunately. And, the mainstream diet industry brainwashes you to do what you're doing, to think that the solution is another food diet. But if it was, why would you be listening to my voice right now? Why would you still be searching for a solution to your out of control eating? Why would you still be looking for a way to fix your binge eating, fix your emotional eating, fix your food and weight problems, right? Does that make sense? Are you getting this? Are you getting it? So back to the topic of your weight loss momentum, okay? Ideally, what you want is you want to create a positive, healthy momentum that is moving you towards your ideal body. This is not something that happens by accident, though. It's not something that's going to happen by waiting. It's not going to happen by starting a new diet on Monday. It's not going to be it's not going to happen by telling yourself that someday my prince will come, your prince being the magical weight loss solution. It's not going to happen like that. The only way that you deliberately, purposefully, and powerfully create positive, healthy momentum towards your ideal body is by going about it from the inside out, and you have to transform in order to do that. Probably you need help. You need to have the inner self way to do that. And how do you do that when you don't have the inner self way? How do you do that when you don't have the inner self solution, the inner self diet tools, the inner self diet method, which can only be found in the inner self diet? See, here's the thing. You have to go about this process of weight loss if what you want. Okay, let me clarify this first. If you don't care that you gain the weight back, if you are okay with yo-yo dieting, if you don't mind having 5 different sizes of clothing in your closet when most of the time you can only wear the biggest one, or maybe you have to keep getting bigger sizes, if you don't mind losing weight and gaining it back, then you don't even need to be listening to this podcast, because my whole message and my message of transformation here is all about permanent success with your weight. That means that the root of the problem is healed, and then you're able to release the fat from your body without a big ass struggle, and then you keep it off for the rest of your life. Okay? That is what I'm about, and that is what I coach my clients to. So one of the people that I coached back in 2010, I mainly work with women, but I also will coach a few cool men. And one of those cool men is Dave, who I worked with in 2010, and he was 90 pounds overweight. And his problem was not losing weight. He knew how to do that, but he'd always gain it back. He'd been doing it like that for 55 years. And he didn't want to do that anymore. So he was really smart. He hired me. He got the problem fixed, and then he did lose the 90 pounds. But what's most important is he's kept it off Okay, so he still sends me updates. He has never gained that weight back. In fact, if you were to meet him now, you would think that he never had a problem because he's just a guy that lives a really healthy, fit lifestyle. But the reason that you think that now is because he's had so many years of being that and practicing it and having the habit of it. So it would seem like he didn't have a problem, but he did for 55 years. He could not. He could not get past the yo-yo dieting until he worked with me in the inner self diet. So if those are the kinds of results you want, then you want to go about this whole game of weight loss from the inside out. 92.8% of the challenge is your inner self. 92.8% of the challenge is everything inside of you. Mental, emotional, spiritual, all kinds of stuff. The way that your brain is programmed, your inner self programming has to change. There are so many things going on that it wouldn't even make any sense for me to go through all of that stuff on one short little free weight loss podcast, and it wouldn't make any sense to you anyway because it's not anything logical that can be figured out. I'm always telling my coaching clients this. I say, hey, okay, so here's the steps, here's the instructions, just do these steps, do them mindfully, do them consciously, trust in the process, and it works. But you're not going to be able to figure this out logically because it's not a logical problem. If your problem that you have with overeating were logical, you would have solved it 20 years ago. But obviously it's not logical because you can't solve it like that. You could be super smart. Like the people that I coach, they have great careers, super smart people, very successful in other areas of their life, but not with the food and weight topic. Okay? It's not an intellectual problem. That's not what it's about. That's why you've never been able to solve it like that. So if you really want to achieve permanent success with your weight, you want to achieve struggle-free weight loss, you want to drop the fat and keep it off for the rest of your life, then you've got to go about it from the inside out. And then what you end up doing is you end up learning how to create a positive, healthy momentum on purpose that will carry you towards your ideal body. And when you get that momentum flowing, it will help you, okay? Because every day it will become easier and easier and easier. Once you get in that flow, it'll become easier to keep going towards your ideal body and living the life of your dreams in the body of your dreams. However, if you continue to keep doing what you've always done and stay in the comfort zone where your emotional eating lives, your binge eating lives, your ups and downs, your yo-yo dieting lives, where all of your problems live with food and your weight. If you stay in your comfort zone, then the momentum that you are creating there, either consciously or unconsciously, that is momentum that's hurting you because obviously it is not carrying you towards struggle-free weight loss, is it? How do you know? All you got to do is look at your results. Your results never lie. All right, it's really simple. Look at the results you're getting. Is it struggle-free for you to live a healthy lifestyle? Are you having fun? Are you easily releasing the fat from your body? Is it struggle-free? Is it no big deal? Do you know how to purposefully create positive, healthy momentum to move towards your ideal body? Are these the results that you're living right now? All right, do you have all the tools that you need to get your inner self on the right track? All right, if you don't, and if your results instead are you're constantly wanting to and telling yourself that you're going to start over again on Monday, you can't stick with it, you're plagued with binge eating and emotional eating and food obsessions and food addictions, and maybe you have lost weight in the past but you always gain it back, you feel like a failure, you feel hopeless, you feel worthless. Okay, these are common feelings and mental states, and it's all part of a fat mindset which will never carry you to your ideal body. All right? You don't even have to believe the things that I'm sharing with you. It's just how it is. Okay? You can keep banging your head against the wall looking for another food diet, thinking that, oh, if I could just use my willpower, to stick with this, I'll finally do it. Well, how many times have you attempted that? Okay? It doesn't work unless you've got the 92.8% of the puzzle solved, which is all about your inner self. If you don't do that part, then the 7.2%, which is the healthy eating and the healthy exercise, it'll always be a battle. But if instead you go about this from the inside out and you address the 92.8% of the challenge, it's not hard to do when you're working with the right coach who already has the inner self diet tools. You know, how would you figure it out on your own? I have no idea. It certainly wouldn't be fast, even. And where would you get the inner self diet tools except in the inner self diet? So, but anyway, you have to address the real problem. 92.8% of it is inside of you. Okay, is this making sense? Are you getting this? I mean, all you have to do is look at your results. Clearly, if you were getting the results of struggle-free weight loss, then you would obviously have already created a positive, healthy weight loss momentum, and it would be easy for you to stay in that flow and just keep that going, because when you become that and you create that on the inside, then the things that you do on the outside have to match up. That's actually universal law. The inner and the outer always match. So, really simple terms, if you're fat on the outside, then you're fat on the inside. And if you stay fat on the inside, your body will continue to be fat on the outside. So the easiest way out of this is you've got to become fit, healthy, slender, sexy, and strong and awesome on the inside in order to match the body that you want on the outside. And then doing the physical steps to get that body will be easy for you to do once you become that on the inside. And then after you become that on the inside, it'll be really easy to create the healthy, positive weight loss momentum that will help you, and it will carry you towards your ideal body instead of sticking with the unhealthy momentum that makes it really easy to keep going towards more overweight, more overeating, more binge eating, more weekend blowouts, more scale fear, more avoidance of the problem, hiding behind the fat. That kind of momentum makes it easy to stay in that comfort zone where you're not getting the body that you say that you want. Are you getting this? Is it making sense? Okay. Hey, I mentioned at the top of the podcast, I was going to say the top of the hour, but we're not going to be on this podcast for an hour today. But I did mention that I do have a free ebook which you can get over at easyfunweightloss.com, and it's totally free. You can read that and take my tips in that and see how it goes with implementing those. And what can you get out of that? It's totally free. You can get that at easyfunweightloss.com. That is a great place to start. It is time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show. And today's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is www.mypodcastbonus.com. Head on over to www.mypodcastbonus.com, and that's where you can enroll in my free 5-day e-course. It will help you answer the question, is your mindset fit or fat? Help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good, and also what you can do about it. And you can get that at www.mypodcastbonus.com. It is really cool stuff. Okay, questions to ask yourself. On each episode, pretty much each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, I give you questions to ask yourself. And the purpose of these questions is to help you get even more out of this completely free weight loss podcast. Obviously, this is not the inner self diet. You're not going to get the results that my clients get in 8 weeks or less when they achieve struggle free weight loss in 8 weeks or less after a whole lifetime of struggle. It's amazing that they get those results so quickly, but the reason they get those results are working with me personally. We have two-way communication. We're working through the steps. It's the core transformation, and it's the inner self diet. Now, here on these free weight loss podcasts, there is no two-way communication. These are free podcasts. They are awesome. You get great insights. You probably learn things here that you've never even considered before, because if you're like everybody else that's out there struggling, and here in just the United States, the CDC states that there's over 1/3 of the population that is either obese or overweight. Adults, obese or overweight. I mean, that is crazy. So, you're not alone in your problems, but do you really want to stay in that camp? You know? But what I was about to say is that if you're like everybody else out there, these millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of strugglers, you are brainwashed in diet mentality, and the things that I share on my free weight loss podcast, the JoLynn Braley Show, help you to start unraveling that diet mentality and help you to start seeing, wow, so this is why I've never succeeded permanently with my weight, because a food diet is not supposed to fix the real problem. So you don't have to make the food diet wrong. You got to be living a healthy lifestyle. There's crappy food diets out there too that are just stupid and they make no sense. But even the healthiest, sanest, most awesome eating plan, it's not going to solve why you became fat in the first place, because that is 92.8% inner game. It's what's going on in your inner self. All right? If you don't fix that, then you'll always struggle with the 7.2%. And I was already talking about that before. So, to help you get more out of these podcasts, I give you these questions that you can ask yourself, and I highly recommend that you grab pen and paper. You can, of course, pause this podcast if you need to get pen and paper, but I highly suggest that you get pen and paper, that you write the questions down, and then you write the answers down. Why? Because there is a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart when you write pen on paper, and you do not get that connection if you type on a keyboard. You do not get that connection at all if you just listen. And I firmly agree with Tony Robbins, who says you will never learn by just listening. Okay? You got to get in there with yourself. You got to get the pen and paper out, and you got to start getting some light bulb moments. Start having some kind of realizations and shifts so that then you can move to your next step. Get the help that you deserve. Hire the coach that guides you through the proven steps to struggle-free weight loss, which is what I do in the Inner Self Diet, which you can't find the Inner Self Diet anyplace else except with me. And get it done. Get this shit done and get out of your way, get out of your own way, so that you can live the rest of your life in peace and in harmony with yourself and with food, and live it in your ideal body, and get out there and do the cool shit you want to do that you keep telling yourself you're never going to do until you lose weight. And how many years have you been saying that? Okay? All right, so first question. Looking at my results over the past 15 years, where is my momentum carrying me easily? Where is my momentum easily carrying me? All right. So it's not going to be hard to figure out. If you've been struggling with emotional eating, binge eating, stress eating, boredom eating, nighttime eating, late night stuffing, food addictions, food obsessions, scale fear, whatever the problems are, okay, then probably you'd say that your momentum is easily carrying you towards more of that stuff, because if your results were showing that you were steadily releasing the fat and that you had gotten to your ideal weight and stayed there, well, you wouldn't even be listening to me right now because you'd already have permanent weight loss, right? But answer the question anyway so that you can gain some clarity, okay? If you don't do this and start allowing yourself to have clarity on your results and what you are creating in your life and with your body, then it's too easy to just keep doing what you've always done. And guess what then will happen? You'll keep getting the same results. All right? Do you want that? Do you want to keep getting the same results of struggle and stress and frustration and pain and depression and shame and hopelessness and fear, with this food and weight topic? If that's what you want, then just keep doing what you've always done. It's that simple. If you don't want that, then you got to start doing something different, and you can start just with answering these questions for yourself. So when I look at my results over the past 15 years with this food and weight topic, where does my momentum easily carry me most of the time? Am I going towards my ideal body or away from my ideal body? Am I going towards more binge eating? Am I easily every week, I end up binge eating, maybe every day, maybe every other day, but things aren't changing. I just keep doing more of that, and that's where your momentum is. Okay, second question. What is my specific game plan to achieve freedom from my unhealthy momentum? What's my specific game plan to achieve freedom from my unhealthy momentum? All right, what are the action steps? What is your daily practice? And if you find that you're writing down food diet action steps, you are not understanding what I've been talking about in this podcast. You have to have a daily practice of inner self diet tools that will address the 92.8% of the problem, so that it's going to be easy for you to then do the physical action steps. If you're not addressing what's going on the inside, then what's changing? What's changing? Because that's where the real problem is. The problem is not the food. The problem is not the fat. Those are just symptoms. Okay? So what is my specific game plan for achieving freedom from my unhealthy momentum? Third question, what's my specific game plan for purposefully and deliberately creating healthy momentum to flow me towards my ideal body? What's my specific game plan? What are my specific action steps to create on purpose healthy momentum that will flow me towards my ideal body? And of course, you could pause this podcast if you need more time. I'm sure that you will need more time to not just write these questions down, but then write your answers down. And then the fourth question, what is my specific game plan, my strategy for keeping my healthy momentum going once I get it started? What's my specific strategy to keep my healthy momentum going towards my ideal body once I get it started? All right? You got to have all of these pieces so that you actually get this thing done, okay, once and for all. Let's say you're 50 pounds overweight, okay? Let's get the 50 pounds off and keep it off and just live the rest of your life and have fun and enjoy it and love yourself, love your body, feel great, feel good in your own skin, feel great out on the beach or whatever. Have no more excuses. No more excuses for, oh, I can't do that because I'm fat. All right? Let's get the 50 pounds off and move forward and live your life full out. You're not going to get those results by continuing to do what you've always done. All you have to do is look at the results that you've gotten all these years, I'm sure that if you're like everybody else, your food and weight struggle started when you were a kid. You were 7, you were 10, you were 12. Okay, subtract the age that you were when you first started having any kind of struggles with food and your weight. Subtract that age from the age you are now, and that shows you how old this problem is. All right, so you got a 25-year-old problem, you got a 35-year-old problem, you got a 52-year-old problem, whatever, however old this problem is. Here's another big light bulb moment. This is why no food diet has ever fixed it. It's a big ass problem, and it just keeps getting worse the longer you don't fix it. Does this make sense? Are you getting it? Okay. The food diet is not the solution. In fact, when you go about this problem from the inside out, you don't need to have a specific food diet anyway, unless you like that and you want that kind of structure. Okay? If that feels good to you, great. But once you go about this from the inside out, then that food and exercise thing falls into place because you'll be inspired to do it. It'll be part of who you are. It's not a big deal. And then you'll have that positive, healthy, fit momentum flowing towards your ideal body, and then beyond your ideal body. Once you get there, that momentum will help you keep it going, so that you're just living a healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life, no matter where you go, and have fun. What would it do for you? What would it be worth it? What would it be worth to you to have those results, to be able to drop the fat and keep it off? Okay, get it done. I coached her in 2000, worked with me and hired me. She had been out of control with binge eating. It was like 30 or 35 years. Major out of control binge eater. And she just couldn't do it anymore. She had been off and on in therapy for up to 7 years. That's a long time, Nothing had worked to heal her binge eating, and she worked with me, and she did the steps, and that was in 2011, and she was 20 pounds over her ideal weight. She dropped the 20 pounds. She has kept it off all these years. She's never gone back to the binge eating, and she's got a different lifestyle now. For example, when her and her husband go on vacation now, they go for the fun, they go for the activities. Their choices are made around what are the things we could do that are fun, that are fit, where before in the past it was always focused on food. Hey, by the way, I'm not saying that food, that you can't enjoy your food and travel the world and have fun, but when food is in its proper place and your awesome kick-ass life is center stage, food is not life. I mean, you got to eat in order to fuel your body, and you can enjoy the food you eat, absolutely, but it's way whacked to have your whole obsession and fear and shame and this whole drama around food and your weight. That is not how life is supposed to be. Okay? It's not healthy. It's you. How can you live your ideal life with that drama going on? How's that ever going to work? How are you ever going to be free to be me? Free to be yourself. The way that life is meant to be, you're supposed to feel good. You're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be prospering in all areas. Okay? Emotionally, spiritually, financially, time-wise, abundance-wise, love, relationships, fitness, health, all of this. Food is supposed to fuel your body. It's not supposed to be the drug of choice, which you have made it be. And you're not the only one, obviously. And it's an easy drug to pick, but it makes you miserable, I mean, you know that already. So good news is you don't have to stay there. You can actually move out of that muckmire, as I call it. And make sure that if you haven't already done so, that you do grab my free ebook, which you can get over at www.easyfunweightloss.com. That is easyfunweightloss.com. It's a totally free ebook. Maybe, possibly, you might learn something new, and maybe, possibly, my free tips in that book will help you. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if you just got one thing out of it that would help you to start moving towards your ideal body instead of continuing to stay in your comfort zone and just create more of the same results that aren't getting you anywhere, right? So, next week, on next week's episode, we actually have, this will be episode number 5 of my One Thought Shift for Weight Loss series. If you have not listened to any of those yet, that's a special series that is found only here on the JoLynn Braley Show. Those episodes are delivered in 10 minutes or less, and you get a one thought shift for weight loss delivered in the form of a question. It's just, something cool, something fun, something different. And you can always find those episodes on social media when you search for the hashtag OTS4, the number 4, WL. That stands for One Thought Shift for Weight Loss. And that is a series. If you go back to the first episode, I gave an overview of what that's about. And then each one builds upon the previous. They're really short, like I said, very short blasts. And next week it'll be episode number 71 of the JoLynn Braley Show, but it'll be episode number 5 of the One Thought Shift for Weight Loss series. It's really cool. Hey, remember, you can get a shout out from me on the JoLynn Braley Show. Just your first name. Really easy to do. Just go over to thejolynnbraleyshow.com. Click the like button on the show's Facebook page, and that's how you can get in the queue to get a shout out from me on an upcoming episode. I would also love it when you subscribe to the show in iTunes. Please leave the show a review. Give us a 5-star rating. I believe that this is a 5-star show. If you don't, well, I'm sure that you do because you're still listening to me. Why would you be listening to my voice if you didn't jive with what I'm talking about? So you can help others out there who feel like shit and need my help. They need some words of encouragement. They need to know that there is hope. You can help them find this podcast by rating and reviewing the JoLynn Braley Show on iTunes, and it is totally free to do, and that's also a way that you can give the show a virtual tip for this completely free weight loss podcast. Hey, once again, remember, grab my free ebook over at www.easyfunweightloss.com. I look forward to seeing you next week on episode number 71 of the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Kick-Ass Amazing Inner Self Diet, and I wish you your best life while living inside of your ideal body.